Hey everyone, Paul Piper here in the studio. Today I'm going to do a little quick training tip on the long roll, which is the double stroke roll, rudiment number one. And there are three variations that I go through with my students, and I want to share them with you. The very first thing that I do when I teach a student, before we do any drum set stuff, I always want to see how they're holding their sticks. And most importantly, how they are using the technique to hold those sticks. I mean, I've seen some students hold their sticks like this or like this. Number one reason is the wrong way to hold a stick is putting your finger on top, because well, look what happens. There's nowhere for the stick to go to. So what I teach is the three different variations of the long stroke roll, and also the proper way to hold your drumsticks so you can get more out of the drumsticks without having to do so much work up here on your arm and your shoulders. Okay, so I do teach the 80% 20% rule. The 80% is what we want to have on the sticks, not the arm. Okay, if we teach 80%, or if we do 80% with the arm and 20% on the sticks, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, because you're going to start pulling muscles and everything. We don't want to do that. So it's called playing stiff. And I've seen many drummers do that, and I almost want to go up to them and say, listen, I can show you a better way to get around the kit without hurting yourself. Okay. I know you've seen some drummers, some really great drummers out there, and wondering how they do such a very fast, fluent single or double stroke roll. Well, it's because of proper technique, and that's what I'm going to go over today. So let's go through the first variant of the long roll. The first variant is a pressed double. Now, what a pressed double is what I'm doing is I'm basically hitting the drum, but I'm hitting it twice. So I'm doing the finger snap back. Before we do that, I want to show you the proper technique on how to do a double bounce without doing too much pain to your arm. So if you look at the snare drum part of this video, what I do is, if you think of slow motion, we hold the arm straight with the stick. Okay, when we come down, when the stick bounces, the bounce will push the fingers out just like that. Okay, now the second hit is the fingers bringing it back just like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a demonstration on how we want to do proper technique with just the double bounce. Okay, now I do teach match grip, but for example reasons, I'm going to go to traditional grip because that's what I'm used to doing. So if we do that same concept, the three fingers on this stick here, those are your snapback fingers. That's what's going to bring the stick back for the second hit. So if I'm doing traditional grip, the same goes with the two fingers on top. Okay, so when I do the bounce, the two fingers will bring the stick back for the second hit. Okay, now that was the first proper technique, and that's what I'm going to go through with students before we do any drum set stuff, because once we get all of that down, then we start the rudiments, and then once we feel comfortable with all the rudiments, then we work with some of the drum set stuff, pretty basic stuff, depending on the level of the student. Usually some students, if they're more intermediate, then we kind of do half and half to start with, but usually the beginning students, I like to make sure we get their stick technique where it needs to be. Let's talk about the three different variations. The first variation of the long roll is basically a pressed double, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that finger snap back that we talked about earlier, but I'm going to do it fast. Okay, so the whole thing is we want to do one stroke but do two hits. Okay, now the first variation is basically I'm going to do two quick doubles. I'm going to speed up the interval between the two counts, but I'm going to leave the bounce the same. Okay, so this is the first variant of the double stroke roll. Okay, so that's the first variant, is the press double. Speed up the interval between the two counts, leave the bounces the same, and then once you get evenness and blending, then you speed up the whole process to a faster roll. The second variant is the 4 quarter notes, 8/8 notes variant, and what that is basically we're doing single hits, and then we're doubling each one for the second half of this variant. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is I'm doing quarter notes, and then we're going to do 1/8 notes, which is twice as fast as the quarter note. So it also works with note values as well. So this is the second variant, the 4 quarter, 8/8. Okay, now the third variant is basically a 4-step pattern. So what we do with the third variant, with the first step of that third variant, is what I call an uncontrolled bounce or a gravity fall. So basically what we're doing is we want to, again, keep our pivot point up and down. If you can see the side view of this hand here. The pivot point, basically your thumb and your finger, always on either side of the stick, both that left one and the right one. So what we do with the first step of the third variant is we're going to just let the stick bounce. Okay, the second step of the third variant is we're going to catch after 2 bounces. Okay, here we go. Okay, now the third step of the third variant is blending. So now we're going to take what we did and now we're going to blend both of them. This is the third step of the third variant. All right, the fourth step of the third variant is to build speed. So this is all 4 steps put together. Okay, so those are the 3 variants of the long roll. So once you get all of that down, then we're going to talk about how to get it around the drum kit. Because the whole name of the game is you want to let the sticks do most of the work. The 80%, 20% rule. Don't put 80% on the top part of your body, put it all on the sticks. Use the 20% up here to help the sticks do what they need to do. And this happens around as well as the whole kit. So the ending result of the 3 variants in the long roll will also work with your rudiments. So once you get all that down, then we start working with rudiments, get everything where you're warmed up, both right side, left side. You'll be able to have a lot of fun around the kit. Thanks for watching.